Okay, Vic, I hear you want to know what it's like to do skydiving. Well, it's awesome. I hear you want to hear like details about what it was like to do it and how it felt and everything, and what the process was like. So I'll kind of go from the beginning for you and just kind of go through it. I have a video of me doing it, but it's in some boxes of stuff that I don't have on me right now. But as soon as I can find it, I'll send it out to you. It's pretty cool. So what happens is when you get there, the first thing, actually, the first thing that they make you do is you pay. It's not cheap to do this. I think it costs like, I don't know, $100 or something like that. Maybe it certainly cost me a lot more because I got the video and pictures. But you have to fill out paperwork, and of course, since you're skydiving, accidents could happen, and I just remember kind of having a laugh when I was filling out the paperwork about who should be notified in case of if I went splat. And I just thought that was funny. I was there with some friends of mine that I went to college with doing this thing. The place is down in New Jersey. It's called Free Fall Adventures. So anyway, after you fill out all the paperwork, then what they do is they take you in for some training, and they teach you, what you're going to go through, and they also they teach you how to like put on the parachute and secure the harness and everything. And what you do is you practice what you're going to do when you actually jump out of the plane. And what the practice is, what they have you do is, you stand on a line and pretend like you're standing on the edge of the door of the plane. And they say you're going to put your hands up on the bar and you're going to look up. They tell you you're going to look up, and then when you jump out, you're going to sort of arch your back and spread your arms and legs like you're in a big X, and you're going to keep looking up. And they say, no, what I should also mention is you don't do this alone. You've got a guy strapped to your back who knows what he's doing. This is called tandem jumping, and for first timers, that's the way you have to do it. So anyway, they say what's going to happen is you're going to be in free fall for like, I don't know, it's like a minute maybe. And I think they let us out around 18,000 feet, and they tell you that you're going to pull the cord and release the parachute around, I think it was 15,000 feet. And I guess it takes you like a minute to get that far or whatever. But they say your altimeter is going to say 15,000 feet, and your guide, the guy who's strapped to your back, is going to tap on your helmet, and when he does, you should pull the ripcord. And they say if you don't pull the ripcord within like 3 seconds or something like that, your guy will pull it for you. But you have to pull it around 15,000 feet because I guess otherwise you're getting too low, or I don't know if things are starting to go too fast. At 15,000 feet is where they said to pull the cord. So, but you basically, that's kind of all we practiced was sort of the jump out of the plane. They said everything else, your guide will handle for you. I guess they figure if you get that far, you're in pretty good shape. So now you're kind of just waiting around for the plane to come and take your group. And it's kind of neat because it's the room. It's you got all these guys who are folding their parachutes, and there's people who just hang out there. It's like if you've ever been to like the beach where you see all the surfers hang out, I think it's kind of like that, where a bunch of dudes who jump out of planes all day long just kind of hang out, and they're folding their parachutes and rolling them up and packing them in their backpacks or whatever, and then they go off and take another. They go up on another flight. So then the group goes over to the waiting area, and we're waiting for the plane, and the plane comes, and it's time for us to go. So they have us stand up, and of course all day long you're watching people parachute, and they're landing on the field, and it's really cool, and it's these colorful parachutes, and people are doing, you see people doing different stunts in the air. They're doing spins and twirls, and it was a beautiful day when I went. It really was a nice day. While I was there were actually some military, a show of parachuters, and they when they do like the smoke bombs. They light them off in the air, and then they're like doing trails of smoke as they're coming down. These guys were doing that. Really, it was really cool. I forget who they were exactly. I took pictures. I should try to find those pictures. So anyway, the plane comes and we get on, and my guy has basically introduced himself to me, and we sort of, the plane is a small little propeller plane, with it seats probably, I think there might have been like, yeah, there were probably close to 20 people who got on the plane. 2 by 2. There's like two benches, and you kind of get on, and you're straddling this bench, and it's like the jumper and then his guide, and the jumper and his guide. It was, I think most of us were first timers, and the plane takes off. With this little tiny plane, it taxis down. You're basically in a field. It's barely even an airport, and the plane rolls and it takes off, and of course all you're thinking of is, wait, what am I doing? This is crazy, and the plane's climbing up, and we're going through. Now we're going through the clouds, because there were some clouds, and we're getting higher and higher and higher, and then all of a sudden you can tell that he's kind of leveling off, and the engine sound gets a little different, and now all of a sudden people are starting to get up and they're heading towards the door, and my guy, who I think took a nap on the way up, has clipped himself onto me, and we're all snug 1-2, and I'm in front and he's in back, and we're making our way to the door. And we get to the door, and I grab the thing like I was taught, and I look up like I was taught, and the next thing I know, we're jumping out of the plane. And I arch my back, and, I did everything just the way I was taught to do it. And now we're just falling. And it was amazing, because, you would think that you'd look at the ground, and your first reaction would be, oh my God, I'm going to be a pancake in a minute. But the fact is, it's kind of like you're flying. You're so high up, and you're falling so fast. And of course, you can feel the wind. And as we were going through the clouds that we had just flown up through, you can feel the moisture of the clouds on your face. But you're still so high up that you don't really feel like you're falling necessarily. You don't have a sense of the ground getting any closer. You just kind of are in air. And it was just amazing, and you can see the wind blowing your skin and your clothes and everything. But like I said, it's not like you're falling. It's just like it's very windy and you're flying. And of course, I'm watching my altimeter, which I was trained to do. And I saw that it had gotten to close to 15,000 feet. And the next thing I know, my guide is tapping me on the head. And so now I'm grabbing around my waist looking for the ripcord. And, with all the wind, the ripcord is bouncing all over the place. And I felt like I had just grabbed it, but my guide decided he couldn't wait for me, and he actually pulled the ripcord. So now the chute goes, and now all of a sudden it's like, you're putting on the brakes, and, the straps are pulling, and you're slowing down. And that was probably the hardest part of the whole thing, because as all the straps are pulling on you, and the parachute is filling with air and basically stopping your fall, it kind of hurts, because everywhere where the straps are around you, it's kind of digging into your skin a little bit. And but the next thing you know, you're just kind of hanging there in midair, and it was just now you're looking around, and like I said, we were in New Jersey, so he's able to sort of turn us, because he knows how to control the parachute. Because if I had been alone, I wouldn't, I would probably land it in the middle of a cow pasture somewhere. But he's able to guide this parachute. So he turns me and he says, "Look over there. There's Philadelphia," and you could see the city plain as day. Then he turns me a little bit. There's the Jersey Shore, and you can actually see the ocean. And you can kind of make out where Atlantic City probably is. And it was a beautiful day, and the views were spectacular. The other thing is, I don't really have a sense of where any of the other people were in their parachutes. And I've never really thought about that before now. But it's like, I don't know where they were, but I wasn't watching them. I was mainly concentrating on myself, and then the guy starts doing some fancy stuff. He has us doing, like corkscrews, and I'm not gonna lie, I got a little motion sick from what he was doing. If we had just done a nice, a nice gentle fall, I would have been okay. But he did the spinning, and that was not great. But after a couple minutes, now all of a sudden, now you can feel the ground is getting closer, and it's getting closer, and it's getting closer. And now he starts talking to me about the landing. He says, he's telling me, just bend your knees, and we can, roll if you feel like you have to. But, the ground is getting closer, 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 closer. All of a sudden, there it is. He kind of like, he does something with the chute. I bend my knees. I let my feet hit the ground, and we actually managed to land without falling or rolling or anything. And it was amazing. It was just awesome, incredible. I did end up throwing up later on because of the motion sickness, but I think that's just because of the corkscrews that he was doing. I don't think the actual experience made me sick. I think it was him doing his fancy stuff there. But I loved it. I'm so glad I did it. I can't wait to send you the video of me doing it because it's pretty good. There's some good shots in there. And if you ever, when you get a little older, if you want to do it, and you want to make it a family jump or something like that, maybe we can do something. But maybe I'll get Connor and Logan here, or Bradley, or Aaron, who knows? But we could all go do it. It's a real lot of fun, and I know that there's plenty of places around here where you can go and do it. But anyway, I hope I answered your questions. And oh, wait a minute, I should let me see if oh no, I can't. I guess I'll wave and say goodbye, so you know it was really me. And I'll send you this video as soon as I can figure out how to do that. Okay? Bye.